Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is David and in this video I'm going to show you an expansion for Talisman, being the Highlands. And this expansion is kind of similar to the dungeon. We will add a new region to the board that has its own adventure deck, the Highland deck. New enemies, new events, new followers, all kinds of new stuff to explore. And at the end of this board awaits the Eagle King. And if you are able to defeat the Eagle King, you will get a relic. Also we will get some new spell cards, some new adventure cards, 6 new characters to choose from, and also we get 3 new alternate endings to end the game. So please let me show you what's inside this expansion. Let's start with the main part of this expansion, the Highland Board. And you will add this board next to the board with the entrance at the cracks. The dungeon expansion is on the opposite side of the board, but if you play with both expansions, you'll need quite some room to play. And just like the dungeon expansion, this Highland board has its own Highland deck of cards you will draw when you're encountering the spaces over here. You can simply enter the Highlands by moving in from over here, the cracks, into the Highlands, and you have to follow the path all the way till the Eagle King. However, if you're maybe up here and you want to go back, no problem, just follow the road back. And this board adds no new mechanics, simply either draw 1, 2 or 3 cards, or roll a die to see what happens, and as usual, when you roll low, it's bad. If you roll a high number, it's good or better. If you roll a 1 in the Ruined Mine, you are attacked by a cave troll with strength 6. Roll a 2, you are attacked by a rat with craft 5. Roll a 3, lost for 1 turn, or roll 4, 5 or 6, and you will gain 1, 2 or 3 gold. And unlike this space, the mountain pass, here's a secret passage to the lost city, so you can take a shortcut. However, when arriving at this space, you will have to draw a card. For your next turn, you have to roll a die instead of your normal movement. If you roll a 1, 2 or 3, you find no way across and you have to encounter the space again. So you have to draw another card or encounter the card that is already there. If you roll a 4 or a 5, you have to move normally, so you will end up here or here, where you have to draw cards. But when you roll a 6, you will move to the lost city. So you find the secret passage and you finish right here in this corner, so you take a shortcut. In the lost city, you will have to roll 2 die. If you roll 2, you lose 1 craft. If you roll 3, you lose 1 strength. Roll 4, you lose 1 life. Roll a 5, you lose either a follower or a life. And if you roll 6, you are lost. You have to stay here until you roll either a 4, a 5 or a 6 as a normal move. And then we get to the good stuff. Roll a 7 to gain 1 gold or an 8 to gain 3 gold. 9, gain a talisman. 10, gain 1 armor from the purchase deck for free. 11, gain 1 weapon from the purchase deck for free. And if you roll a 12, you will gain 1 relic from the relic deck. Hey, the relic deck. What is the relic deck? The relic deck awaits here with the Eagle King. This is the end of the Highland. All further movement points are lost. And in this space you will have to fight the Eagle King. If you have a standoff or if you are defeated, and if you are defeated, of course, you lose a life, you are moved back to the cracks. So you have to go through the Highlands all over again in order to fight the Eagle King a second time. The Eagle King has strength and craft 8, and of course you get to decide to attack with either strength or with craft. If you win the battle, you may move to any space you want in the outer or the middle region of the board, but you also will get 1 relic. There are only 4 relics. You cannot choose one, you have to shuffle and get one randomly. And a player can get multiple relics by defeating the Eagle King multiple times. And these are some very nice cards to have. 3 objects and 1 follower. The Rage Talon adds 2 to your strength during battle, and if you win the battle from another player, that player cannot use his armor to prevent the loss of a life. And there's also the Windlord Amulet, adds 2 to your craft, and also when defeating another character, that character cannot use armor. Then we have an Arnkel. So these 2 you will keep for the rest of the game. This one you can only use 1 time and then it is removed from the game. Instead of moving normally, you may discard Arnkel and all of your followers. It's just a 1-person ride, and you can teleport to any space in the same region you are in. So this item is really nice to have when you're entering the inner region. You simply discard this card and you can go straight to the Crown of Command. So you don't have to encounter all those mean places at the inner region. And finally we have this follower, the Dreadwing. With a dread ring you can still roll a die to have your normal movement, but you are also allowed to roll 2 dice and add them together to determine how far you move. Should you roll doubles, then you get to choose any space in the region you are in to move to. So 4 nice rewards to find at the end of the Highland board if you defeat the Eagle King, and it will be a surprise what relic you will receive. The Highland deck, I think there are not as many enemies in this as in the adventure deck, but there are a lot of objects and treasures to find here. Only one new mechanic. There are some objects in this deck that have the keyword trinket next to them, and because they are so small they do not count towards a character's carrying capacity. So you can have as many as you want of these trinkets, and mostly you can discard them in some places to receive gold. But a whole new deck of cards to discover with of course enemies, but I think it's more, also some bigger enemies, craft 7, but there are really a lot of objects and items to discover over here. So I really like wandering around the Highlands during the game if you're playing with this expansion. Then we have new adventure cards. We have 2 rune gates. These cards you might already know. When a rune gate appears on a space on your next turn, instead of your normal move you may teleport to any other face-up rune gate or any rune space. Once the rune gate has been used, it vanishes to the discard pile. Simply add them to the adventure deck. There are also these adventure cards and they have the icon of the Highlands also next to their title. That means these cards can only be used when playing with the Highland expansion, because mostly they will have you return or send to the entrance of the Highlands. Or there's a card that says put the 3 top cards of the Highland deck on top of the adventure deck, so also the players on the main board will encounter some Highland cards. Or some enemies, if you are defeated you are teleported to either the Highland entrance or this rock will drop you at the mountain pass. But these are straightforward cards, no new mechanics, as goes with the spell deck. 10 new cards, or actually 5 new spell cards, but 2 of each. They have nothing to do with the Highland board in special, so you can simply shuffle them into your spell deck and you don't have to remove them afterwards. Then we have 3 alternative ending cards. When you're playing with one of these cards, this will decide how the game is ended. So when a player gets to the Crown of Command, you don't cast the command spell anymore, you have to do what's on the card. You can choose to either have it randomly and put it face down, so once the player gets up here, we'll see what will happen. But you can also decide to play with the card face up, so you know what is coming. Personally, I prefer to know what's coming up, but that's up to you how to play. For example, if you encounter the Eagle King at the final space, the Eagle King has 4 lives, has a strength 12 and a craft of 12. A character arriving here first has to fight the Eagle King. You can choose to attack either strength or craft, and when you win, you will remove 1 of his lives and you have to immediately attack the eagle again. So to win the game, you have to win from the Eagle King 4 times in a row, because the 4th time will remove the last life of the Eagle King. However, if you either have a standoff or lose a battle, your turn ends and you immediately are teleported back to the cracks that was at the entrance of the Highlands, and you have to get through the middle and inner region all the way again up to the Crown of Command to fight again. And the Eagle King will restore all his lives when there's no character present on the Crown of Command. So you really need to win 4 times in a row to win the battle and also win the game of Talisman. Then we have the Battle Royale. Fortnite comes to Talisman. Once a player enters the Crown of Command, all players who have no talisman are killed and removed from the game. All players that do have a talisman are teleported also to the Crown of Command. And from now on we will have a battle to see who will win Talisman. The player who started the Battle Royale gets to choose what player to attack, and if that's a strength or a craft battle. The losing player will lose a life, and the winner of the attack then chooses another character to attack. The losing player cannot be chosen again unless he is the only other character remaining, and if the attack is a standoff, the same characters will fight again. And so the players will keep attacking each other until only one player is remaining, and that player wins the game. And of course the attacking player gets to choose if it's a strength or a craft battle. And finally we have the Hand of Doom. And if you think to reach the Crown of Command isn't random enough, then you will like this card. The first player to enter the Crown of Command will have to roll a die. So you really want to have some fate tokens left when you enter the Crown of Command in this case. Each of your turns you will have to roll the die. If you roll a 1, all characters are killed, all players lose the game. Game over, man. So hopefully you will still have a fate token to have another roll. If you roll a 2 or a 3, you will lose 1 life. If you roll a 4 or a 5, choose one character and that character is killed. And of course, if all other characters are killed, you win the game. But if you're on the Crown of Command, you really want to roll a 6, because then all other characters are killed and you win the game. And if multiple players gets onto the Crown of Command, they don't fight with each other, you simply roll a die and see what's happened every turn. And I recently had a game where one player got to the Crown of Command. He started with a 1 but had a fate token. Then he rolled only 2s and 3s, so he lost almost all his lives. And then when he had only 1 life left, he rolled another 1 and he had no fate tokens left. So we played 3.5 hours of Talisman for nothing, because all characters were killed and no one won the game. Well, of course you play Talisman mostly because it's fun, but keep in mind playing with the Hand of Doom that this might be an option. And then finally we have 6 new characters to play with. Keep in mind they come unpainted out of the box. I gave them a paint myself. And I will show you the character cards one by one so you can read the special abilities if you pause the video. But for now, if you have any questions about this Highland expansion or Talisman in general, please feel free to ask them in the comments below. My name is David, thank you for watching and hope to see you next time.